Social media is about ego. There isn't anybody in this room that isn't going to at least partially agree with me on that. We put our tweets up, we want to be noticed. I like the fact that I could walk into a room and people would say, "Oh, you're Round Peg." Yeah. Part of that is long before Twitter ever came along, I started a business. And I chose 10 years ago not to name that company the Ball Group or Ball and Associates. I chose to be Round Peg. I picked a name that fit me. And so I had to ask myself, why was I holding on to the Round Peg brand? Why was I so resistant? And it boiled down to three things: momentum, bias, and ego. The brand was 3.5 years old. I had been on Twitter at that point for 3.5 years. I had history. I had a large network of followers. I had a really engaged community. And I had a brand that to me was a lot of fun. Reading the Round Peg stream was a lot like having a conversation with me. In any given conversation, we would jump from business, what was going on in the Indianapolis community, social media, small business tips, restaurants, dining experiences, cats, because you got to talk about cats. And all of that was all jumbled together. It felt really comfortable to me. It felt like me. 3.5 years earlier, when I got on Twitter, there were not a lot of businesses on Twitter. It was primarily a personal communication channel. The world was changing. And so this brand that I can best describe as a jumbled mess wasn't building my credibility, and it certainly wasn't building my business. That really gave me some confidence that, okay, I could be a brand and still maintain that human touch. I could still maintain my humanity, even though we were transitioning it to a company brand. But just as Twitter was changing, just as it was becoming more of a business medium, so was my company. I have this amazingly talented group of professionals that work with me. And each and every one of them has a separate identity out on Twitter and in the business community. But they also have identities as members of the Round Peg team. And my refusal to let go of the brand was undermining the very thing I was trying to do, which was build a company. It was undermining their efforts in the community, because what I was saying in essence is, yeah, you're part of Round Peg, but not really. The first thing that we did was define the brand. What was Round Peg going to be, and what was Lorraine Ball going to be? And it was really important to me that they have different purposes and different personalities. People needed a reason to follow. We knew who we wanted to be. And the next question we had to address was, what was our personal communities? That the reason we were doing this was to create one cohesive brand. And so you don't know on any given tweet who is the voice behind Round Peg. Right now there are 4 of us that write for that. I will confess there is one way to tell when it's my tweet. If there's a spelling error or a typo, being sunshine and roses. We step on each other's toes occasionally. We don't always agree about where something should be. Should it be personal? Should it be professional? And it's not just me. Because part of this process was to give everyone in the organization a piece of the voice. But they needed to step up and take that to the Round Peg brand. When you move from Facebook to our website, to our Twitter stream, you feel like you're traveling with a friend. You're going to get the same irreverent humor, you're going to get the same emphasis on social media, the same opinions, and the same tone of voice. And on the other side, the results are there as well. Our Twitter traffic is solid every single day. It is usually our number 2. Facebook and Twitter flip back and forth, and that really depends on if we've had a particularly strong photo. Facebook will drive a little bit more for us. So Twitter is driving an ever-increasing amount of traffic to our website. Like people, I am not who I was 10 years ago. My company is not what it was 3 years ago. And my Twitter account today doesn't look at all like what it did a year ago or 2 years ago. If you're going to do this, whether it's for a brand you own or a brand you support, you have to accept the fact that it is going to change. It's going to grow. It's going to grow with the medium, it's going to grow with the environment, and it's going to grow with you. And the way to manage that change and that growth is just the way you would with a child. A little bit of love, a little bit of lessons, a little bit of discipline.